Introducing a lineup of international award-winning and talented indie authors, only on the Writer's Corner live show. Welcome to the Writer's Corner live show, the weekly water cooler for authors and readers. Join us for 30 minutes of insightful conversation with some of the biggest names in the industry. We feature award-winning authors, New York Times and USA Today bestsellers, and even indie sensations. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the Writer's Corner live show.
Imagine a world where the lines of reality blur with the fantastical. Embark on journeys from humble beginnings to the pinnacles of literary greatness. On the Writer's Corner, we delve into the lives of unique wordsmiths, known for their compelling storytelling. They are artisans who craft fantastical realms, etched in our memory long after the final page is turned. Every tale begins with a single word, a single idea. Authors create sensations that keep you on the edge of your seat. Witness how they transform setbacks into stepping stones, use refusals to spark growth, and turn rejections into catalysts for new inspiration. Witness the diversity in writing as it gives birth to a vast array of genres, from drama to mystery to children's stories, fantasy, and reality. Join us as we uncover sources of inspiration and the magic that defines the author's craft. Find out how authors breathe life into their characters and meticulously craft narratives and plots that captivate readers. Get a sneak peek into upcoming works and join us as we celebrate literary greatness, only on the Writer's Corner. We don't just celebrate best-selling Amazon and New York Times authors, but also indie authors. Join us on the journey from the birth of a tale to the creation of a masterpiece, only on the Writer's Corner live show. Stay tuned.
If you're just joining us, then welcome to the Writer's Corner live show. If you're not following us on social media yet, please do. I'm Bridgetti Lim Banda from Cape Town in South Africa, and today's guest is the amazing Simon Macdonald. Our live stream is brought to you by Creative Edge, StreamYard, and BeLive Media, with immense gratitude to BSN, your all-in-one entertainment revolution, for making it possible for our show to be on Roku, Amazon Fire, Google TV, and soon also Apple TV. So do join BSN for a world of boundless creativity. To you, our viewers and our listeners, a very warm welcome. But before we invite Simon to come and join us here on the show, a warm welcome to my friend and co-host, Mary Elizabeth Jackson. She's a passionate author and certified special needs and disabilities advocate who's committed to amplifying underrepresented voices. Mary's also a speaker, educator, ghostwriter, and songwriter. How are you today, my friend?
I am wonderful. And that was a mouthful, wasn't it? But we all wear many hats these days, it seems like. I'm doing great, and I'm super excited about our author today.
Yes, I am absolutely delighted. Simon Macdonald hails from the Scottish West Highlands. He's a globally acclaimed chef, a TV personality, and a witty after-dinner speaker. I think he's going to have us on our toes today.
I know, I can't wait to hear.
Yes. And beyond cooking for royalty and presidents, he's penned a charming children's book, A Rhyme in Time, which we'll talk about today.
And I love this book. I love this book. It's so amazing.
Wonderful. And so, welcome to the enchanting world where culinary mastery meets storytelling magic. Let's invite him to join us, shall we?
Absolutely. Hi, Simon. How are you?
Hello. It's lovely to be here. What a welcome. My goodness, I was almost having to get up and bow to myself, I think.
We are absolutely delighted to have you. Thank you for joining us.
God, it's a pleasure to be here. And I was sort of thinking about Mary's quip there about wearing many hats. I mean, I've lost count of the number of hats I've got to wear between my writing, my cooking, my television presenting, and my consultancy work I do in fisheries and aquaculture and processing and so on. My day is quite interesting, shall we say, and long.
Are you working
Never
harder
a dull
than you
moment.
Yeah. Are you working harder than you ever have in your life? Do you feel?
Yes, so that I don't have to retire, because I've got many good friends who said, Simon, don't retire, because you think you're busy now, wait till you retire. You don't have time, you wonder if you even had time to work. And I think that's probably quite true. So, but my ethos in life is if you don't look forward to a Monday morning, change your career or do something different. And I love Monday mornings. I can't, I enjoy the weekends, don't we all? But on the Monday morning, I'm up there, I'm raring to go and get on with it. So yeah, life's a blast.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're going to put you in the hot seat for a minute. Just for a minute, and then we'll play.
That comes with great welcome, because it's very, very cold here. So to be in the hot seat.
Yes, I know, right? We both want some of Bridgetti's sunshine, because you have clouds and snow, and I have clouds and snow, and we're both freezing.
I know, and it's
it's very hot here. You're welcome to some of my sun.
Yes, I had 5 very happy years living in South Africa and enjoying the weather. I mean, even in the middle of winter, it was just like summer in the UK. It's lovely. So yes, I was very, very happy.
So I'm gonna kick us off by asking you if you have a memorable behind the scenes moment from one of your television appearances that we don't know about.
How long have we got? I remember, well, there was one show I did. I used to do a lot of the morning programs, magazine programs in the UK. And there was one particular show we did with a very well-known couple of presenters. And I was doing the cooking side of things and at one of the features. And they also had an alpaca came into the studio. Now, I mean, they say never do anything with children and animals in front of a camera, and it's very, very true, believe me. And this alpaca, I mean, it was a beautiful looking creature and it had a very smiley face. And, the girl who brought it in says, yes, the alpacas, they're, very friendly and very happy. And when they're really happy, they hum a little tune. And so I was prepping the kitchen. I went, and so on the floor manager came over, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And I said, what? My mic was live. So I had to do a voiceover for an alpaca. It was a slightly awkward moment, shall we say, but such are the joys of live television.
But memorable nonetheless.
Oh my goodness. That's hilarious.
I was actually wondering whether I'd get asked back again. But no, live television is great fun because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps the energy going, keeps the adrenaline going. And I enjoy that. So needless to say, doing so much live television, particularly the morning shows, then I've got probably a book full of incidents and moments when, as they call them, bloopers, when I just wish the world would swallow me up and I could disappear.
Well, there's your next book for sure. You need to do one about that. But your Rhyme and Time, which I have a copy of and have read to my son, and he loved it. We love your book so much. How did your culinary background influence the creation of the whimsical and imaginary poetry for children that you've written?
That's a very difficult question to answer because it just sort of came to me. I wrote the book and I illustrated it as well.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I've always enjoyed tinkering about and drawing things and painting things. And I mean, there's the cover there. We have it with the illustrations, and it's I love children. Can't manage a whole one, but I love children, and it just all sort of seemed to come together. And so I wrote it and I did the drawings and the doodles and so on, and had had a lot of fun doing it. So I thought, well, this is great. I wasn't sure how to go about having it published, and it was a fellow co-presenter and author as well, who said, "Oh, I know just the people to get hold of." So she introduced me to Norns Triad Publications, and they said, "Well, we'll set up a video call," which they did. And said, "Could you read me one or two? And let's see what it's like." So I read them a couple, and they just seemed to be blown away with it. So that was that. The rest is a history. So I had so much fun doing it. Now I've had so much excitement in seeing it progress and actually being published. And I think it's one of the most exciting moments in anybody's life, seeing your first book being published. There is something quite incredible about it. And everybody had warned me about this euphoria that will hit you when you suddenly see the first copy of it. And absolutely true. It's an incredible experience. I'd recommend it to everybody.
Yeah, it is. It really is it's a very personal, it's surreal. It is really surreal. And Norns Triad is a great publishing company. We love them very much. So I think it's the closest thing you come to birthing something besides a human is a book.
They are. I mean, with Norns, they're so nice. They're incredibly nice people. And it's actually quite a family because, all the authors within the group, we all keep together and all chat together. And it's just this lovely sort of family bonding atmosphere there as well. So hence the reason this is how we met up with Mary as well. And all Mary's talents as well. Incredible talents you've got, Mary.
Oh, thank you very much. And
we need to all get together. Exciting.
It is.
No,
oh my goodness!
No, it's been been a great journey to get to this stage as well. Every day's a journey, every day's a pleasure, and just keep going at it, and that's it. Some things will work out, other things, well, you sort of think, oh, this could get a bit dreary, so you just make it a good experience instead.
Absolutely. And so, beyond the spotlight, what aspect of the culinary world have you found the most fascinating that you think is misunderstood by the public?
Getting a dish right. No, I think really a recipe book, and everybody, I've been asked 1,000 times to write a recipe book, and I could probably write several, but there's recipe books are quite difficult things to write as well, and it's where do you start? So I suppose starting with the starters, but when I'm still working on a recipe book idea, but I'm taking it before the starters and looking at the equipment you use in the kitchen, the knives, how to look after your knives, what knives this for, what pots this for, what pans this for, what do they do, how do you make them work really well for you. So, there's a lot of education goes on behind there. But, with recipes, recipes are there just to give you inspiration. The only one you really should be following to the letter is anything to do with baking. But other than that, if you're creating dishes and so on, just, have a look at the recipe, gives you the inspiration, gives you the idea, and put your own twist to it and have fun doing it.
You know what? I wish you would write that book. I think that's really wonderful to give all that education. And it's really important for kids who haven't gotten that at home. Simon, think about the children. I mean, I have kids in that stage, right? They're in college doing that young adult thing. And some of them haven't been able to learn that at home. And I know one of my favorite classes was home economics, where we learned those basics, and they don't teach those anymore. And so that would be a fantastic book for young adults and people who want to learn really how to cook. And you're right, all that stuff is important, all the pots and the different knives and the different this and that. And so Bridgetti and I we want to encourage you to write that book, and we will buy a copy. Absolutely. So
Like, no pressure, Simon, no pressure.
No pressure. I'm just going to nag you. I'll send you little text messages. Did you get?
Actually, I think I walked straight into that one.
Yes. Okay, so here we are about this subject. Your after dinner speeches are known for their wit. We want video. Can you share a humorous mishap or unexpected turn of events from one of your speaking engagements? Because we all have them.
Oh, don't we just?
Yes. We have them on this show.
Dragging the tablecloth across and actually sort of destroying the room almost. Yes, it's we've been through them all. Yes, I did have that misfortune of standing up to give my piece, and rather than the napkin that I had on my lap, I'd actually got the edge of the tablecloth and pulled that up. So everything went all over the place. I mean, we had the most incredible looking multicolored tablecloth there with between red wine, white wine, port, and you name it, that was all over it as well. It was an interesting experience. They all thought it was part of the act. And so I had to go along with that a little bit and, and not make apologies necessarily. Oh, yes. I think I sound like a bit of a walking disaster zone. It's probably not far short of the mark.
No, we would love to see it, wouldn't we, Bridgetti? We would love to be there.
Absolutely.
Yes, I was rather wishing I hadn't been there at that precise moment when the tablecloth went.
I bet not.
They asked me back, so I must have done something right. They thought, this is the most crazy thing. It's like somebody a pop star going into a room, smashing the place up with his guitar, or smashing it on stage. Here I am, I'm smashing a speech up on stage, and the rest of the table as well.
There's a comment from a gentleman, Peter Stewart, right, Bridgetti, asking what you speak on. Yes, he wants to know what subjects you speak on.
Anything that I'm asked to speak on, I usually just drivel on with such a load of rubbish. But
with your accent, you could talk about anything, and everybody would be like this, on the edge of their seat listening. Like, I love to listen to Bridgetti talk, and I'm like, our voices over here in America are so boring compared to y'all.
Well, I mean,
oh my goodness.
I love Bridgetti's accent there, the South African accent. Having had such a lovely time, 5 years of it in South Africa, to hear the accent again, it's just so nice. And I mean, locally, I actually had a knee replacement last year as well. So now I'm causing absolute havoc in the airport security system. But as one does.
You and my mother.
Yes, but my physio terrorist, she was actually from South Africa, from Victoria, and she's got a real strong Afrikaans accent. So I love going up there to just get my knee pulled apart and ripped around and twisted around my back and so on, just to hear this accent. It's almost like coming home. And here I am, a Scotsman, born and bred not far from here in Scotland, and yet I'm longing to be back in South Africa often enough. It's South Africa has become almost a spiritual home. Quite.
Why? Thank you so much, Simon.
I was going to say, maybe you're a former life you live there. maybe you and Bridgetti are related. You need to do your family tree and see if
Well, where I lived in Nice now, I mean, there was reckoned there were more Scotsmen living there than there are in Scotland. Everybody's a Scotsman in Nice.
That's amazing.
They have a world-class pipe band there as well. Nice. And, bringing in the new year, which is Hogmanay is a big thing in Scotland. I remember my first year, and I was standing on the balcony, and the pipe band were circled all around me and playing away. And I was on the phone to family back in Scotland. They did not believe I was in South Africa. They said, "Come on, where are you? Are you in Inverness or are you in Glasgow? You're not in South Africa, not with that racket going on." So, yeah, it's just an extraordinary place.
Thank you. It's wonderful. So I'm going to ask you to hold up your book again, A Rhyme in Time. So A Rhyme in Time brings a very unique perspective by presenting poetry from a child's point of view. How did you tap into your own childhood experiences or imagination to connect young readers in such a very relatable and charming manner?
I had a wonderful childhood. I really enjoyed every second of it. It was, it was just magical. So I was fortunate. I had quite a privileged upbringing as well, which obviously helped and so on. And yeah, it was just, a very, very special time. And I think Rhyme and Time really probably was circulating around in my mind from that moment onwards. And I tried to sort of portray them through the book, a sort of innocence and a childhood innocence as well. And I was writing it from the child's perspective, rather than an adult writing poetry for children, because I feel that doesn't always quite work. So I had to write it as if, putting on my child's hat, my old school cap, whatever, or even preschool. So that gave me such pleasure in doing it, because it was great escapism as well. Because my other work, which I do in particular in fisheries and aquaculture, it can get quite intensive. So when you've got an escape route like this to be able to write and create something in the child's mind and to illustrate it as well, it switches you off completely from the rest of the world, and it's therapeutic. I mean, it's therapeutic for me, and it's hopefully therapeutic for the kids. So, oddly enough, just after it was published, there was a piece on the morning television in the UK where they had some child psychiatrists in who were sort of analysing and everything, going through the about children's nursery rhymes and new nursery rhymes and the need for them and the need for the illustrations and so on. And it sort of personified the book in many ways. So I sort of went away thinking, God, if I'd thought all that, I probably never even have written the book. I just wrote it from the heart as it came along.
And that's the best place to write it, because then you're not pressured. When you're pressured to meet those standards, if you want to call them, then it's not as natural coming through, and that must have been surreal kind of to hear them talking about that. So your Rhyme and Time has a feel-good factor for all ages, which it really does, because we can testify to that. My son and I can. What's a specific moment, in your own life? And you talked about your childhood being amazing, but what in there inspired a particular poem in the book and helping to evoke that universal sense of joy and wonder? And you do have to write from the viewpoint of the child. If you're writing for children, anyone out there, you've got to, either go sit with children, be in that environment, or even with your own child, and just, empath, put yourself in that place. Because otherwise, writing from an adult's point of view is not going to have the same effect.
Yeah. No, I mean, I see where you're coming from. It's, I would never try and analyze it, but there's, I'm looking through the book just now. I'm looking for one particular to give you an idea of, of how I was doing it from the child's perspective. And it's a poem. It's called The Letter. And there we have it, there with the illustrations as well. And I'll read it out to you. It starts simply. Dear Granny, I went with Mummy to see London Zoo. I saw there a panda and a big kangaroo. There were lions and tigers and a grizzly bear, hippos and camels with raggedy hair, sea lions and penguins and chimpanzees too. What a wonderful day I had at the zoo. Love, Ailish. So it was writing as a letter from the child to the mother, rather than doing it the other way around. So, had to put on the kiddie's hat for that one. Definitely, I actually put the kiddie's hat on for them all. I keep reading them through myself as well. This book, it appeals for all children aged from 1 to 101, I think. I haven't found anybody of 102 yet who's tried it out. But I noticed that the older they get, the more they enjoy it. And I've had so many messages, and I've had photographs of grandparents sitting around in fits of laughter, reading the book to their grandkids, and I've had some videos sent to me as well. And I mean, it's been so heartening to see that. It really has. It's made the whole experience really worthwhile.
Absolutely delightful. Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, oh, it's been a tremendous experience. So, there's another one there somewhere that's going to come out. There's got to be
It's coming. It's
It's
coming.
coming.
We're waiting with bated breath. We'll message you just every second day and remind you.
Well, we went with the cooking book first.
Oh,
Simon's like, God, I shouldn't have said anything. And I'm gonna be like,
that's hard work, but I mean, I've got so many recipes and that's actually part of the trouble. I've probably got too many recipes. It's trying to work out which ones to use and in which sequence. But
Oh my goodness!
Quite an emphasis on fish because I love fish.
Ooh, me too. Me too. I love fish too.
Oh,
Oh my goodness! Speaking of fish and culinary experiences, so with such a successful career both in food and literature, how do you find the common thread between creating a culinary masterpiece and crafting an engaging children's rhyme?
They're both creating. They're both creative. And require a certain amount of artistic ability as well, I suppose. So in that respect, they are very, very similar. In fact, the more I think about it now, spot the difference. I can't. You create a dish that's there for enjoyment and for pleasure, and you create a book, create a poem for children that's there for their pleasure as well.
That sounds delicious. And I want to say thank you. Let's see, Patricia Massey piped in. We want to say hi to her and tell her this book would be great for any little kiddo in her life. And my sweetheart was piped in as well. I want to ask you, what do you have a favorite dish to make? Because, I think all of us who cook, we tend to have ones that are favorite more than others.
Yeah, and I mean, like writing, keep it simple, and with cooking as well, keep it simple. Otherwise, you get bogged down with a whole supermarket full of ingredients, and trying to get them in the right order can be a nightmare. So keep it all simple. And do I have a favorite dish? That will change on the hour, every hour, probably. Just like cooking. But fish is a big thing. I've also got a very sweet tooth, may I add. So, simple things like ice cream, where you can be quite creative in it. And, an ice cream can be quite complicated and time consuming to make. But I've got a version which it's so simple, and it's quite an easy one to remember. So if you've got a can of condensed milk, 1 egg white, and a carton of double cream, which is the same size as the can of the condensed milk, and then some vanilla essence. Put that lot together, just mix it around in a bowl, and then put it in the freezer. That's it. It's as simple as that. It takes minutes to do. Actually, almost takes longer to actually talk about the recipe than to create it and do it. But then you can go the extra mile, and you can put in chopped up strawberries instead, or some pineapple or mango or whatever, or go the next stage up and just take it away from the kids and then put in some Cointreau or Grand Marnier and just jazz it up. I mean, you can do so many different things, and you make that one very simple ice cream into quite a spectacular variety of different ice creams as well. And I keep saying the sky is the limit, but the sky is not the limit when there's footprints on the moon. And it's the same with cooking as well. Let your imagination just run wild. The same when you're writing. Let your imagination run wild.
That could be the name of your cookbook.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yes. And the wild child. It's again,
Yeah.
A bit old to be called the wild child, but that's okay. There we are. But,
my goodness.
So cooking with fish, I love it as well. And people do get a bit scared about cooking with fish because they're afraid, it's going to go wrong. What do we do? It's actually one of the simplest things to cook with. It really is. And There's so many different types of fish you can work with. Do you know there's over 27,000 different species of fish in the sea?
No.
I know I used to have a fish smoking business in the West Highlands, which was, that was a great experience in my life. I loved every second of that, but by golly, it was hard work.
Oh my goodness. Simon, I hate to break up the party, but we're out of time. We're definitely going to have you back on the show again, without a doubt. I think there's still a ton of questions that both Mary and I have to ask you. And so, we definitely would love to have you back again. I want to give a huge shout out to our audience. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to everyone who commented in the show. Simon, please do come back again. And we want to say thank you to everyone for joining us live. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for catching the replay too. And we'll see you next week, same time, on another episode of the Writer's Corner live show. Thank you for joining us on the Writer's Corner live show. 30 minutes of insightful author conversations with some of the biggest names in the industry, including award-winning authors and international indie sensations. Join us on the next episode of the Writer's Corner live show.